Hi, my name is Graham Thompson, and I'm going to take you through this short introduction to L8MS Risk, our Legionella risk assessment software. I guess before we look at the actual software itself, we need to answer the question, why would you use Legionella risk assessment software? I think there are three primary benefits to using the software. First being speed. I think I'm going to be able to show you that the L8MS Risk package is capable of reducing the report writing time, and time, as we know, equals money. The second is repeatability, reliability, replication, call it what you will. The ability to produce reports in a consistent format using consistent language. Obviously you can maintain templates yourself and standard paragraphs, but I find that quite intensive, and the electronic system does it rather more easily. Last is versatility. Obviously when you've put all of the tanks and outlets into a database system, we can pull all of those items back out of the system and then use them to build a, say, logbook system like our sister program L8MS Manage. So you do have the data in a rather more usable format. Okay, that said, let's look at where we don't think we can save a great deal of time, and it may surprise you. We've tried very hard to put software into the survey process, but actually bearing in mind that you spend a lot of time up ladders, on high walkways, in dirty dusty plant rooms, squeezing down the side of cold water storage tanks and the like, we can't find any way of collecting data that beats a piece of paper. Its flexibility is infinite, and it is cheap, and if you lose it or get it wet or bash it, it doesn't really matter. And for this reason, we haven't run, or we don't run software on any PDAs or iPads or anything like that. You notice, say, on a survey sheet that you don't actually put in the risk ratings, you don't put in the recommendations usually. You scratch out some notes, and in fact probably even those notes on a survey sheet are more than I would record when I'm doing a risk assessment. I usually do a little sketch like is in front, and we're talking, you know, I know whether it's got a lid by my drawing, whether it's got a hatch, whether it's got screened overflows or not, whether the inlet and outlet are in the right place. I actually only have to take a very small number of notes to be pretty sure that I've got all the records I need. I haven't been able to find a piece of software which comes anywhere close to dealing with the speed that you can get a report down on a piece of paper. So we don't actually utilize software for collection. Even when it comes to the assets, I get taken around buildings in strange directions. Here I went from block 2 on the 5th floor, then the guy took me across to block 1, then we went down block 1. There was a lot of replication in block 1, in the gents and ladies were all identical, so I can write the word ditto and bits and pieces. So generally speaking, there is no way that we can find to survey any quicker. So we wouldn't be touching your survey process, just supplying these templates for you to work with. Okay, when you've finished doing your on-site survey, I need to show you how L8MS Risk is actually going to help you save time producing a Word report. And we used Excel, which might seem like a fairly unusual choice. However, it generated three really helpful benefits. One, users know how to utilize Excel, so it's familiar. Two, Excel and this survey is available to you offline, so you can survey in a plant room, you can survey in your hotel, you can survey when the internet connection falls out for some reason or other. So you're not dependent on having a continual internet connection in order to get on and do your survey work. The last benefit was that you can save this Excel document when you've finished with it, and next time you come across an almost identical GRP system, you can open one of these up and save it under a new name and change the temperature and gain the benefit of copying an entire survey, if you will, very easily. We also dropped into these Excel spreadsheets some clever little drop-down tools which give you pre-selected choice of answers that you can make and they will drop in to the cell that you're working on, and from that will then allow you to you can see the Legionella risk here popping up as a 2. We work on a 0 to 4 basis, 4 being a panic. And they're not set. You can work on these because it's an Excel document. So as an assessor, if I don't agree with those, I can change them. And whilst I'm on this row, I can also make use of automated options for risk recommendations that I want to make. But again, and just to point it out, if those recommendations are not really the ones I want to make, this is editable, so I can do or alter things, with ease within the document. We use the same documents more or less throughout our creation of risk assessments. So if we just have a look here, this is a asset register, and that again is built up in Excel. That again gives you the benefit of being able to take blocks of the gents toilet, hit copy, paste and replicate it up, and build your asset registers up fairly quickly. When you've completed all of those offline Excel spreadsheets, we then need to load them up into the risk assessment application itself. That is online, and we are in a risk assessment here. This is a risk assessment for the demo accident and emergency site. And what we basically do is upload each one of the risk assessment spreadsheets. So we have one for system identification, what systems are present, mains, cold water down services, fire systems, and the sort. And we would simply go to the survey and click browse and bring the file up and save it. The same for asset register. The same for the surveys that we've created for clarifiers and tanks and management. We're just simply going to bring those up. You can do the same for photographs as well. You see here that you can give each photograph a title, a picture name, sorry, and give it a risk rating if you want to. You don't have to, but you can give it a risk rating, and also a little description about what it is that you've seen and what you think should be done. So that's pictures, and then there's an executive summary. This section doesn't auto-generate too much. It's an area for the assessor to be able to actually summarize what's on site and put a little bit of personalization into the report. It does bring in a lot of information from the report to help you get started, and there are standard paragraphs very much like you can see at the top here, which would just allow you to do a bit of editing and get moving a bit quicker. But yeah, that's the executive summary, a bit of personalization there. And the control scheme, that's a nice one. It auto builds. You hit the build button here, the software goes through, finds anywhere you've identified infrequently used outlets, and then generates a task and a list. So it builds a site-specific control plan based on the things that you've identified. If your clients are going to access the system and actually look at the risk assessments up here as opposed to getting just a printed report, there is a place where you can upload information about key people or assessor competence or drawings so that you keep everything together for the assessment. We have a process where you can issue reviews, being 2 years down the line or a year down the line you want to do a review. You can take the existing assessment, reissue it with a new date, and then edit the bits that you want to edit. We then have two printing options. The old printing option here, where there are a bunch of reports that you can throw out as PDFs, and the new system here, which is a Word report, and I think this is the one that's going to be used by everybody, which allows you to build a style, build a type of report, and you can have any number of those. And when you choose that from the drop down, it will tell you which sections are going to come out in the report, and you simply hit the create report button down here, and then we can have a look and see what the report looks like. So the report, the Word report, is exactly that. It's a Word report. We've been quite careful with using things like headings. If I click on home here, so you'll see that the main headings are heading 1's site description, are heading 2. the main text is all coming out in the normal, and this lets you do quite nifty things, like you can change Times New Roman to Arial as your normal, and the whole document would change to the font of your choice. It also allows you to insert a table of contents, for example. Not everybody knows about these, but under references there's a section here where you can insert an automatic or a custom table of content, and it will auto generate the table of content for the document using the headings, either heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. This one's on a heading 1, just to keep it short so I can show it to you, where you can see the exec summary and what all our risk ratings mean. The findings report is our summarized report of corrective actions made, the asset register, the control scheme, system ID, and also then in this particular report all the surveys are listed up down the back end. So if I drop down then, just have a quick look at, say, the findings, control and click, and we jump down. So this would be a standard summary for us of what recommendations the assessor made, and here you can see the spreadsheets, if you like, where you've got the question, the internal condition of the system, you've got your answer as a surveyor and the recommendation that you've made with your risk rating all laid out, and a kind of a summary for cold water storage tank 1 at the top here. So there's one recommendation made with a risk rating of 1. There are 2 recommendations made with a risk rating of 2. And it tells you the total number of questions and how many questions weren't answered and things like that from the survey. And we do actually add up all of the risk assessment types. So within the exec summary, we can add up survey type 1, 2, 3 and come up with an overall risk assessment rating in the exec summary for tanks and for chlorifiers and for the types of survey that you put in, if I can find it in the assessment. So here, this would be a summary for all of the cold water storage systems on site, 5 Legionella recommendations at level 2, and a summary of the most poignant recommendations made within the exec summary. Say, the whole thing's editable. You can run spell checker and add bits in. It will maintain things in the headers and footers in terms of page numbers and things like that. So I hope that gives you a very brief feel. I'll post a hyperlink to an example document where you can spend some time going through it and see what a document actually looks like. Thanks very much for watching, and if you want to get in touch with me, you'll find my details on the website. Thank you.